Hello, hello. Happy Friday. For all my American friends, happy post Thanksgiving. I hope it was amazing. And I hope you all are doing well. As you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about 7 ways to simplify your manifestation process with the law of assumption as a coach. And I did just review my notes, so this live is going to be really insightful. I intend that it's going to be really palatable and just certain tips that you could use right away that will be a game changer in your overall manifestation process. And that's the goal in this live. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, or if you have any questions after the live, if you're watching replay, definitely shoot me a DM or comment below, and I will be honored to just get back to you in a timely fashion. So as you could tell, I know that I did some posts about Black Friday and the Black Friday deal that I had. Again, like the bundle is only $44, so it's 60% off, and it's a lot lower for those of you who are in America, just a disclaimer as well. After the conversion, it's about $30 something, and just wanted to let you know that it's not going to be marked down as low as $44. So the regular price really is it's not $1,100, but it's $111. So it's 111, and it's marked down only for Black Friday, and the price is going to go up either today or on Cyber Monday. But if you're going to purchase, or if you're thinking about purchasing, I would encourage you to purchase today, just because I'm not sure if it's going to go up on Monday or go up in the holiday season. So definitely grab it. And also so there's 2 things that are included. Any future updates. So any future updates that are going to be added to it until the end of December, you will pretty much get those updates. So if you purchase at $44, you will get any updates that I add to that bundle sent to you automatically. So you don't have to do anything extra. You just purchase it and you'll have those updates. Lastly, you can set up a call with me. So if you purchase today, you could set up a call with me and we could talk about your manifestation process. We could talk about self-concept. We could talk about your your getting on with the law of assumption and how you've been just getting on with the entire journey. And so there's just a lot of things to to discover, of course. But for those of you who are in the coaching space that are teaching this sort of thing, this will be really beneficial to you. So we want to just dive into the 7 ways that you could simplify your manifestation process, especially when you're dealing with clients and you're working on how they're also materializing and manifesting what it is that they want, and how to get them to materialize desire a lot quicker, or their goals a lot quicker. The first one that I have is that you want to just assume that this process is simple and easy for yourself. Like, you want to just really immerse yourself, your subconscious mind, and your emotional body, your nervous system, with the idea that this gets to be easy. A lot of us, when we allow things to be difficult, it's because we assume that, or we have the belief that this thing has to be difficult. Therefore, we're putting additional roadblocks or unnecessary roadblocks to how we can actually get to what it is that we want, how we actually get what it is that we want. So we want to make sure that we're at least approaching this process with an easier way, a path of least resistant way, so that we can get what it is that we want in a quicker amount of time. And of course, that is self-explanatory. Why wouldn't you want to materialize and experience your desire immediately? Because again, materializing desire is instant. So why not shift into that version right now while it is available to you, right? So assume that this process gets to be simple, gets to be easy, and watch it all unfold, right? But many of us are not here, so that's why I have 7 ways to really step into how you're going to materialize desire, but how you're going to also simplify the process while you're doing it. And so the second point is that you want to really narrow down on your routines, right? So routines matter. The way that you carry on life in general does matter, because how you react or how you behave in life affects how you feel, and how you feel it impacts how you behave. So you really want to create a routine for yourself that is going to allow you to shift into the version of self that already has your desire, and do it in a way that is more seamless and, again, desirable and simple to you. So for many of you, and this moves me to my next point, is that you want to get to a space where you are creating this routine that is natural flowing to you, right? And a lot of us who are maybe just confused about how this routine thing works, I would say just imagine yourself as the version of yourself that has your desire, and imagine the things that she is already doing or he is already doing. Most likely you're going to say, okay, well, she wakes up at either between 6 and 8 a.m. She gets herself ready. She does her, she drinks her water. She does her routine. So these are the sorts of things that I'm talking about throughout the live. But just to give yourself an idea of what this person is doing, you could start to imagine, just ask yourself, okay, well, what are the things that feel good to me right now that she would be doing as a part of her daily routine, as a part of her lifestyle, right? And so you really want to narrow down on what you're doing in your routines, and primarily in the morning or in the afternoon if you want to do an afternoon routine. But I find the most potent times to do any sort of routine, any sort of lifestyle practice is in the morning and right before you go to bed. So those are going to be the times that you really want to sit yourself down and get out what you need to get out. And it's even a bonus for you if you want to do an afternoon routine. But if you do create a routine, let it be in the morning first, let it be at night, and then if you have mastered those two routines in the morning and then the nighttime, then you could add an additional routine to doing whatever you need to do, a walk, like a meditation time in the afternoon, only if you solidify the morning and then the nighttime. So the third point is that you want to get centered in your breath work. And a lot of us just overlook the real essence of what breathwork could actually do, either breathwork or meditations, right? You really want to get to a space where you are in the relaxation of how you can, or in the feeling of how you can actually relax your mind and how you could relax your emotional body. You want to get to a space where you know what relaxation feels like and looks like, and you're building a familiarity with how you're actually feeling, and you want to do that because you want to know whether or not you need to solidify a breath work or complete or conduct an actual breath work or meditation session, so that you are moving closer and closer to being able to saturate and impress your subconscious mind with this new thought, this new belief, this new feeling state and assumption about yourself, right? And a lot of us who are coaches, who teach, some of us really do need this emotional self-regulation and this emotional stability, because we're also working with clients that are working through their emotions and working through processing their thoughts and their feeling states. So you really want to be able to put yourself first when it comes to pouring that relaxation lifestyle practice into your day-to-day routine. That is really, really crucial. And so you want to, so that's point number 3 pretty much, is that you want to increase your relaxation. You want to be able to put yourself in a space where you are more aware. So you're automatically increasing your awareness. So when you're doing your meditations, assuming that you're doing it in a quiet space, in a non-threatening space, right, in your home or even outside in nature where you like to go for walks and whatnot, and you're really shifting yourself into the version of self that is highly aware of these multiple versions of yourself, that is feeling into the versions of self that is relaxed, that is stable, that is secure, that is safe, that is generating multiple 4 and 5 figure months. You really want to tap into that, because it's not until you tap into that where you start to get familiar with the steps that version of yourself will take, right? So this gets really deep when you get into relaxation alone. And I understand that sometimes that could be a privilege to some of us, but really, if you could just really squeeze in at least 10 minutes out of your schedule every single day, and you commit to that every single day, you will automatically not just feel, but you also see the changes that you've created just by doing that and committing to that. That will allow you to shift into the version of self again that is receiving this new, pretty much data, like this new information, these new results, and these new experiences. So do not overlook your relaxation, and do not overlook the fact that your relaxation is really the foundation of how you're going to experience a higher awareness, and a higher, just really a higher, I like to describe it as an enhanced way of living, an enhanced way of experiencing yourself, because you're really, when you desire, you're really asking yourself to experience yourself in a different way. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again, is that you want to create a space so that when you do make your shifts, that you can make it in a consistent way, that you can sort of create a baseline to the feeling states that you have. So if you're feeling, satisfaction every single time that you sit down and you do your meditation, you do your breath work, you can move from satisfied to feeling hopeful, right? And you want to create a baseline so that if you have, like, again, satisfaction as your baseline, you can move easily to being, what did I say? Did I say contentment, or I said hopeful? And then moving from hopeful to joyous will be a lot easier, right? So if you create a baseline of either satisfaction or hopeful, you know that the more you do this, the higher your baseline gets, and the higher your feeling states will get on a more consistent basis. So you want to, like, whatever you decide to want to be your baseline, you can use satisfaction, and then hopefulness, and then joyous, or fulfillment, or freedom, whatever have you. And you want to choose a word that feels the most resonant with you, okay? And so moving on to, I think it's either the fourth or fifth point. Bear with me with the numbers, but right here it says 4, and I might have just, added a previous point to the previous points. But the fourth one is to really get anchored into your visualization. And I know that visualization is not easy to do, or imagination is not easy to do. I hear that people, in the space, that some people don't have an opportunity to visualize or imagine because they don't have that aspect of themselves, or they don't know how to access that version of themselves, or that aspect of themselves. I personally believe that everyone has the opportunity to grow into their visualization and their imagination. I personally believe that everyone has the opportunity to grow it and develop it if they want to. So if you are someone who is in this space and you are struggling with visualizations, or you're struggling with imagination, I would say go back to the previous points that I mentioned and really get yourself into a mindfulness to where you could start to even pretend. And even if you have gotten to a place where you could pretend, that is a lot better than you just saying, I cannot do this at all, right? Because a lot of us could pretend that we're seeing a pink elephant in the room, and believe it or not, like, you've already imagined this pink elephant in your room because you're listening to what I'm saying, and your mind is automatically going to picture that for you. So I personally, I cannot say that I've never had an imagination, because I personally cannot imagine life without one. But if I say, a green goose, like, you're going to imagine a green goose, right? Or you're going to pretend that you at least see a green goose. And I think the more that you just practice this visualization, this imagination, and of course these are going to be inner imaginal, like, desires, then why not use that as a way to materialize what it is that you want, right? And that's only going to bring your materializing a lot to you a lot quicker. So that's what I will say on that. And moving on to the fifth point is that you want to be able to also journal. So you want to be able to journal or script. Scripting is more effective, in my opinion, in terms of how you're going to actually bring these not these circumstances, but bring these imaginal experiences toward you. You want to get into the feeling states. You want to get into the imaginal self-dialogue. You want to get to really believing that this is you now, right? That this ideal version of yourself is you right now. And the trick to either journaling or scripting is that you want to do it in the present tense. You want to do it in either the future tense or not the future tense. You want to do it in the past tense or the present tense. And what that's going to do is get you automatically into the feeling state of already having what it is that you want. Because guess what? When you write it down, anything that you write down is a subconscious act, number one, right? You may not even know that, but when you are writing down or scripting, just know that you are doing a subconscious mind activity that engages the subconscious mind to being impressed and saturated with whatever you put on paper. This is why I could attest to journaling, and this is why I could attest to any form of scripting, because it definitely works. And the more that you ease yourself into what it is that you're scripting and really heightening those senses, that's how you're really going to bring, again, those experiences toward you a lot quicker. Moving on to the sixth point is that you really want to start to feel good. So this is, engaging the senses, right? And well, that was my next point, but you want to really engage your emotional state. You really want to get to a space where you are not only feeling into, but you are like imaginally seeing what it is that you are also receiving. And you cannot receive, like, this is just a disclaimer, but like, you cannot receive what you in imagination cannot receive and hold and retain for yourself. I want to reword that, but you cannot experience what you cannot imaginally see and receive and retain for yourself. So this is why imagination, or even if you have to pretend, comes in. Like, this is where the work comes in, that you actually have to be able to hold yourself to a higher regard, to know that you are able to receive this, and just know beyond a belief that you are receiving it, and playfully just going throughout your day, going throughout your life, going throughout how you're feeling good about yourself until it shows up. So when I talk about self-concept, it's really about what you're marrying to yourself, right? And what others are marrying to you, and what the world and the universe is mirroring back to you. It's all this mirror principle, right? And you really want to get to a space where you are comfortable enough to assume that you are the version of yourself that already has your desire. And again, it's more like you can pretend as much as you want, but unless you are really engaged on an emotional level, like feeling state level, you will not be able to attract the consistent experiences to yourself that you want to experience on a consistent, sustainable basis. So just be mindful that when you are feeling good and when you're doing the things that pour into your self-concept, that develop your self-concept, that you are retaining that in imagination, that you are, whenever you think of the thing, that you are receiving it, and you are thinking, feeling, and seeing from a place of already having, okay? This is, again, I know this is a list, but these are things that you could start to implement right away, especially if you are running a business, especially if you are showing up for yourself, especially if you are showing up for just your overall community, and ways that you can, things that you could actually implement right now so that you can show up in a bigger, brighter, more impactful way. But if you're not feeling into this, if you're not feeling that you are, optimizing your self-concept to a level that will allow you to bring in those, 4 and 5 and 6 figure months, there's really nothing that you could give yourself to work with, right? You really want to start to shift into the version of self to where you're believing that this is even possible for you, right? And I know this is possible for you. This is why I'm here. So moving on to the last but certainly not least point is that you want to, again, engage your self-concept, engage your senses. You want to get really focused. You want to give intentional focus on what it is that you want to grow, because where your energy goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. So you want to really create that happy dance, right, between what it is that you want, you actually experiencing what it is that you want, and knowing that it is on the way, and knowing that no matter what, this is meant for you. Like, this outcome is the only outcome, it's the only option, it is what is meant to be. Excuse me. And you want to be able to get to a space where whatever you see in the external is just, it's not, especially if it's something that is undesirable, it's not something that you're going to entertain, it's not something that you're going to engage in. 3D has its way of 3Ding, of course, but when you get to a space where you are, again, in your knowing, there's nothing outside of you that can phase you. And this is what makes the work so amazing, is that you are sort of in this delulu, but you're also in this state of knowing, because you know that this is going to be pushed out into reality. And last but certainly not least, you want to make sure that you are, just prioritizing your emotional self-regulation. The quickest way to impress and saturate the subconscious mind is to get relaxed, right? Is to get in your feeling good states and to really start to materialize from a place of knowing versus, well, if they could do it, maybe I can do it. Or if I see others doing it and it's successful for them, then maybe I'll give it a shot. Like, no, if you really want to materialize desire on a consistent basis, you really want to shift into the version of yourself right now that already has it, right? Okay, so that was not even my last point, but I'm going to take a sip of water. And really just talk about the bundle again. So I talked about just, doing a quick recap. I spoke about being able to assume that this process is simple, really getting to a space where you are mastering, or at least making sure that you have a morning routine. You want to get to a space where you are working on your breathing exercises, and that's also going to shed false beliefs, which I forgot to mention, but you really want to get to a space where you are safely and securely able to release false belief. And oftentimes that is by a way of breath work. And even if you want to, again, shift into a version of self that already has your desire, breath work is a sure way to do that as well. You want to get really, high in your self-awareness, and this is your conscious self-awareness. And what that's going to do is allow you to shift into the version of self that is aware of how to guide your subconscious mind while you are awake, of course, into accepting and receiving the version of self that already has your desire. If you are a coach, chances are you want to bring in more clients, you want to bring in more income, you want to serve and impact more people. And you cannot do that unless you are showing up in a way that you can impact more people, sign new clients, and really get those consistent 5, 10K, 15K months. So this is all a process. And so when I say honor the process, I mean to honor the process. Honor yourself. Honor your just developing of your high self-concept. Really implement this. And when you implement this, you will start to get better and better. When you practice this on a day-to-day basis, you will not only, again, see the changes, but you will also feel the changes. But feeling the changes come first, of course. And then when you feel the changes on a consistent basis, that's when you'll start to see reality reflect more accurately exactly what it is that you actually want to experience. And yeah, going back to the bundle. So everything, because I was doing a recap. So let me just finish the recap, is that visualization, Imagination, being able to really shift yourself into the version of self that is freely able to pretend. For a lot of us, it's going to sound like inner child work and really shifting yourself into a version of yourself that is the little insert your name, and shifting into the knowing that that inner child is safe enough to pretend, safe enough to really imagine what their dreams were as well, and really visualize what those dreams were. So if you have to tap into your inner child and tap into your inner girl, like your inner little girl, just don't hold back on that, right? Just really shift into the version of self that already has it. Also, all of these points are just coming to me now that I've like listed them all in front of me, is if you are a paid client, or if you're really wanting to, just evolve and transform your self-concept, especially for the year of 2024, do not hold back. And I say that because when I do like guided meditations for my clients, I encourage them not to hold back, because when you do your guided meditation, especially with me, I tell you to not hold back. So everything that you can possibly want to experience goes in this guided meditation, and I deliver it to you by way of, just you closing your eyes. And it's really like a guided meditation style of all the things that you want to experience in the future, in this now moment. So I literally quantum leap you by a series of guided meditations into the version of self that already has exactly what you want. And so when I tell you not to hold back, especially if you are you are in tune with your inner girl, your inner little girl, and you know what that inner little girl really wants to experience, you could bring that all to the guided meditation, and I will deliver that to you and quantum leap you into the version of self that already has your desire. This stuff is no joke. Like, I really shift you into the version of self that you most desire, and that you most crave, and that you most really want to shift into in this now moment. So do not overlook any of these activities. And going to the bundle now. So the bundle, again, it's not going to be marked down lower than it is right now. You, of course, get a one-on-one. So we get a coaching session, and for any updates that need to be updated in that bundle until the end of December, so December 31st, will be added to that bundle. So just be aware that if you do proceed to purchasing the bundle, you will get a chat with me, and you will also get first dibs on getting that, getting any updates that come to the bundle moving forward. And of course, the bundle is going to be, it's really going to evolve, because right now we're using the baseline. Of course, we have a baseline of where you want to start in your self-concept and your manifestation process and journey. But you have to know that when you are evolving to different states and different baselines, you're always going to look a step above. You're always going to want to progress. You're always going to want to grow. You're always going to want to elevate your self-concept and just your overall process, your lifestyle, really attain that, what you would experience as emotional wealth and emotional freedom. Freedom does it for me. It's like a hands down, like 100% quantum manifestation that if I had to run to the ends of the earth, it would be because I want to be free, and I'm feeling free, and I'm materializing freedom in every aspect of my life. So again, if any of this resonates with you, send me a DM. If you have any questions about what I mentioned, please feel free to let me know. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. I definitely urge you to purchase the bundle. It's not going to be this low. It's not going to be this low ever again, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that it stays as low as possible, because again, that's the baseline to your overall manifestation. Okay, I think I'm back. Your self-concept and everything else in between. So this is the one and only solution to really achieving what you establish as your emotional wealth and your emotional freedom. And everything else is going to is everything else is going to fall into place. Your time freedom, your financial freedom, your location freedom, just your everything freedom is going to follow after you do this, after you focus on your self-concept, after you really simplify your manifestation process. On that note, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next live. Cheers.